Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namah Krishna Prasthaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yadvaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Srivasadi Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri La Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Kaliyuga Pavan Harinama Sankirtan ki, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuvannmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamyanjiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. You all can see the shloka here. Is shloka coming here in the board? Vyasa Uvacha. It is 1.6.2. Bhikshubir Viprabhasite Vijnana. Okay. Vyasa Uvacha. Bhikshubir Viprabhasite Vijnana Deshtrabhistava Vartamano Vayasyadye Tadakyam Agarod Bhavan. Srila Vyasadeva said, what did you, Narada, do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth? And this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. He is saying, Vyasa said, when the mendicants who had taught you that knowledge departed, being of young age, what did you do? She is adding one more point, being of young age. Because you are a young boy now, when you hear spiritual knowledge in the presence of, all these Bhakti Vedantas, it may be a temporary thrill for you. Like we have seen in Maharshi month, children get up in the early morning and they take a bath and go to the temple. They will check who comes first, who got up in the morning. But then it is like Arambashuratnam, we call it. No, Arambashuratnam. Arambashur means it's like a flower pot, like that. Initially, they have interest, and after that, they will become interested in movie, and here and there, they will get as they grow in age. Correct, no? So therefore, Vyasa is asking Narada, mendicants, when they were there for 4 months, naturally, he might have been very serious and enthusiastic. But after they departed, You were a very young age. What did you do? He's asking. Hmm. See, in commentary, Prabhupada says, this is in Chakotrak's commentary, he says, Vipravasite means departing from there. Hmm. And then, since I am your disciple, I desire to know. Therefore, I am asking, he is saying. So, in the 64 principles that Rupa Goswami Pad gave, there is one principle called as Sadharma Pricha, which means inquiring from the spiritual master how he advanced in his spiritual life. Yeah. And because we are seeing him as a inspiring personality, then one asks questions about how I can advance in my spiritual life based on how you advanced in your spiritual life. So here, the purport he says, Vyasa Deva himself was the disciple of Narada, and therefore it was natural to be anxious to hear what Narada did after initiation from spiritual masters. He wanted to follow in Narada's footsteps in order to attain the same perfect stage of life. This desire to inquire from the spiritual master is an essential factor to the progressive path. This process technically is known as Sadharma Pracha, as the Prabhupada writes. So he is using the word, one special word. What is it? Essential factor. Now, many of you have experienced when you give a class, after the class, any questions, people have no questions many times. They may not ask any questions. Sometimes a person raises hand. So you think maybe I'll end the class now, take some questions. And you ask him, any question? He says, no question. Then why did you raise the hand? Which I just wanted to know, when are you going to end? That is his only question. Many people want to know what time class will end so that the prasadam will be served. So, Brahma Jignasa or Tattva Jignasa is a very essential factor, as he says here. There has to be a desire to inquire from the spiritual master, he says. To the progressive path also, he says. This process is technically known as Sadharma Pracha. He's asking one more question, he's asking. See here. Oh, son of Brahma, Narada, how did you pass your life after Diksha, after initiation? And how did you attain this Narada body, having quit your old one in due course of time? That means you had a Dasiputra body. How did you leave that body and attain this beautiful Satchidananda body of Narada now? How did you get this body? And how did you pass your life after initiation from those Bhakti Vedantas? What all steps you took? He's asking. Here, he's saying here, in what manner did you give up that body as a son of maid servant at the time of death? See, you must have given up that body in very, very Krishna conscious, thought process. Otherwise, how did you get Narada body? Correct, no? So, I remember in Pune, there are two brahmacharis, Sundarar Prabhu and Sankitan Prabhu. Their father was admitted in a hospital and, stomach had become bloated and a lot of water in the belly, So, doctor said today or tomorrow he will pass. So, I had gone to meet him. So, I asked him, what is your desire? What can I speak on? I asked him. So, he requested me to sing Gopi Gita. So, I sang the Gopi Gita. After that, he had told the sons that, all this, many family members like, daughter, and other family members who may cry, so kindly tell them all to go to another room. I don't want to see. And then he was telling, Prabhuji has come, let me just absorb my consciousness. So after that, I took leave and came. In the evening time, probably after 3-4 hours, he left the body. So later on, the sons told me that he said, the Shastras say, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. We should not have any last lingering attachments. If we have, we will come back again. So he said that I wanted to completely absorb my consciousness. And he said I always had a flavor attraction for Gopi Gita. So I wanted to hear that. So Prabhuji came and sang. Now I am very satisfied. My mind is very refreshed and absorbed in Bhakti Bhava. I want to keep this. So he kept it, and then he left the body like that in a very successful manner. Just like I was remembering our Bhishma Pitama, how he left speaking Vishnu Sahasranam. Correct, no? That's what he's saying here. In what manner did you give up that body as the son of the maid servant at the time of death? Because sometimes we all have experience. In spiritual life, we are in high spirits. Sometimes in spiritual life, we are in low spirits. So can some of you tell me examples of what kind of mindset we have when we have high spirits in spiritual life? We have one more mic? Yeah. High spirits.
Hare Krishna.
What experience, what feeling?
We want to serve.
You want to serve. You feel like rendering service. You're going and asking, how can I serve? How can I serve? You are requesting for service. Okay? Anybody else?
We feel that how we can assist others in their services and focus on specifically about especially in kirtan and or chanting. Focus on that. I mean, observe the activity where what we are performing.
So two things he has said. We are not in a mood of controlling or bossing over anybody. We are in a mood of assisting. If somebody is already doing service, please tell me, how can I serve you? You are in that assisting mode. And another point, he made a brilliant point is, whatever devotion service we do, we feel a kind of sense of absorption and entering into eternity. And we don't feel pulled or pushed by the worldly things around us. You feel a kind of absorption. Very good point. Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, there.
We feel like taking shelter of Krishna and superiors in Krishna consciousness. We feel at home.
You feel at home in Krishna consciousness. Good point. You feel at home. You don't feel like a stranger. You feel very much you are very comfortable in the temple, comfortable surrounded by devotees, comfortable doing services, comfortable, hearing Krishna Katha, comfortable taking darshan of deities, comfortable in yatra with everybody. You don't feel you are missing anything. Like you are only missing one thing, suffering. Everything else you have, all that you need to have. You are very comfortable. Very good. Anybody else? When you are in high spirits?
Usually, Prabhuji, when we are in high spirits, we come to a proper consciousness at that time. Many of the tensions, even in Krishna consciousness or materially, we come to an understanding that I am not the doer, it will happen. Whatever best we have done.
You are in a consciousness of let go. You are in proper consciousness. Okay, I have done my part. Krishna will take care. Nothing to worry. In this world, so many ups and downs may happen, but now I have done my part. Lord is watching. So we feel the presence of the Lord in our life, seeing His hand in our life, having trust in Him, confidence in Him. And we also develop some amount of detachment, of let go. And you don't too much become worried or bothered or, driven by anxiety. Correct, no? Like, one time I was giving a Bhagavatam class in Pune. One gentleman, life member, came and sat behind. So he's a donor. And he was completely sweating. He was taking kerchief and again wiping. And after the lecture was over, he wanted to meet me, took me to another room. Radheshyam, do you know, Kargil war has started. Kargil war has started. Indo-Pak war has started. The last 3 days it is happening. I said, yeah, I heard about it now. I'm getting too much tension. We don't know who is going to win and everything. I said, sir, you can do, in case they need some money, you can send some money. In case you can give some support, you give some support. Otherwise, what is in your hands that you can do to, for India to get victory in this battle? So he was telling me, but are you not taking anxiety? Our country is in danger. Enemies may enter into the country. I said, I also don't want to see enemies entering the country. But our Prime Minister is intelligent and they have a very good defense mechanism. They are doing it. If they want some help from the Praja, we all can give. If they want something, But what is the point in taking so much tension, sweating, wiping the, And, he already has a blood pressure problem. Huh? Is it good? I said, don't take so much tension. See, if you can do something, then you do it. And if it's beyond you, then don't take tension. I told him. Anyway, you can't do it, then why do you take tension? If you can do, then why keep quiet, do something? Neither I told him. So that is Bhagavad Gita philosophy, correct now? So, but why I told you this, like made a good point Prabhu made now, that we also should learn the art of let go. Let go means what? After having done your part, we should not take too much tension for anything, because there are many uncertainties in this world, and many things are uncontrollable also. Uncertain and uncontrollable. Why take too much tension? That doesn't mean you are irresponsible. We should be responsible or not? Be responsible. But after having done that, it's beyond us. Something which we cannot do, only God can do. We can pray to Him that I have done my part. Oh Lord, if it so pleases you, you do your part. You can live. So when you are very Krishna conscious, you can be like a child. You can do your part and just let it go to God. And then, just like a children are very confident, Ma Bap are there, they will take care. Correct, no? That type of consciousness devotee gets when he is in high spirits. Somebody else's hand was up. Yes, yeah.
Contribution of Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual master. Because of that, we are in this stage.
So you very much strongly feel a sense of gratitude to those from whom you have received mercy, blessings, guidance and everything. You never feel great about yourself. You always feel that I am a product of mercy. If they didn't show mercy, where will I be? Like we say, the Gaur na hoito, otherwise say Prabhupada na hoito. You feel like that. And that feeling of gratitude is like a juice in your heart. You feel, that's very true. Good point. One more hand was that? Yeah.
When we are in high spirits, we try to become part of the solution rather than the part of the problem.
You are more in a cooperative mood. And you are also less in a competitive mood. If many Vaishnavas are deciding, you also feel, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe slightly we can do it different, but then 90% of the people are agreeing. So let me flow with the wind, because this is not going to lead to a loss. So you are more in a congenial mood, cooperative mood, rather than in a... And in case you are in low spirit, you will protest for every small thing. Yeah, what did you say? What did you say? What did you say? Like that, Sometimes they make other people offender for a word, as we say, when we are in low spirit. When you are in high spirit, even if somebody gives correction, you are in a very happy mood to receive. You are in a cooperative mode. Very good. Thank you.
Krishna. So basically, we feel that I do not deserve association of devotees. Amidst so many deficiencies, Vaishnavas, Guru and Krishna, they are so merciful. So let me be grateful towards them.
So yeah, this is also one of the aspects of gratitude, that you are more cherishing what you have rather than complaining what you don't have. You are blissfully cherishing that, oh, I have got association of devotees, shelter of Guru, such wonderful wisdom given by Prabhupada, and Krishna has sent me prasad, he is coming in the form of prasad, and what more we want? I have everything in my life. You feel as if you don't need anything else. On the contrary, when you are in low spirits, we always keep complaining, he has that, she has that, I don't have that. But now you don't have that complaint. Yes, one more? Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Murali Prabhu said, let it go. Prabhu, so what is the difference between complacency and allowing it to go?
Yeah, we should not be complacent. We can't be lethargic and say that I let it go. No. And that is what is called irresponsibility. We should not do that. We have to do our part and not be attached at the same time to getting a particular result. Because some people, they do their part and they expect Krishna to do his part. And if Krishna does something opposite to what they wanted, they become angry on Krishna. Correct? No? Just like our Chitraketu's wife, Kritadyuti. She, as well as Chitraketu, both wanted a son. And they got a son, child, But then the child was taken away. Child died, Chitraketu went mad, berserk practically. When he came, several places he fell, stumbled and fell, got up, and then reached the child. He fell at the feet of the child. And Kritadyuti, her hair also became disheveled. She loudly cried, oh, and all the other servant maids also cried. They couldn't tolerate seeing the queen cry like that. And she was first criticizing Providence. Then she was criticizing God directly. She said, what kind of person are you? You are heartless, she said. You are first giving a child and making us develop attachment. And after we have developed attachment, you take away the child. And that way, shattering our hearts. So I can say that you have no sense. Like that she was scolding Providence and God in that way. See, she is saying, first you gave the child, but they adamantly got the child. that she doesn't say. Correct, no? So, in this world, certain things will happen which are very painful for us. Like there was one devotee in Belgaum. He was one devotee. So he had one small kid, this much kid, he must be probably 6-7 months, maybe a little more, I think. He may be around 8 months or 1 year, I think, kid. And another kid, grown-up kid. But the small kid, without attention of the parents, went to the outside garden and there was a well kind of thing. He slipped and fell in and he passed away. So he took it in a very mature way. He said, Bhagavan ne diya, Bhagavan ne le liya. Abhi hum kya kar sakte hain? And this child was not supposed to live any longer. He just lived 1 year in this way. So it seems God has decided another destination for him. And he went on with his duty. So he and his wife are very attentive to taking care of the child. They never let. But sometimes the children are very naughty, you know that. They go on their own. So otherwise, some people go mad if they lose. Like Chitraketu and his wife, they went mad. You can see that. So that is what we should not do. He's saying we should not. After we have done our best, it's in Krishna's hands, and whatever that Krishna does is best. God knows best. Repeat. These 3 words you should remember. He knows best what is good for whom. Even in the subsequent shlokas, you will find there is one shloka which comes here. You will see here. See here. See here, it comes, this was 166. Ekatmaja me janani yoshin mudha cha kinkari mayatmaje ananyagatau chakre snehanubandhanam. See, Eka Atmaja, I was the only son. Janani, for my mother. Who is that mother? Dasi. For that Dasi, I was the only son. Yoshin Mudha Chakinkari. She was a simple woman. Mudha means not very learned or educated or smart or anything. She was a servant maid. Simple. Mai Atmaje Ananya Katau Chakre Snehanubandhanam. She bound me with ropes of affection. Why? One reason is I am the only son. And therefore they say there is sneha and moha, we say, no? She always bound me with the ropes of affection, thinking that later on this boy will grow up, he will earn money and he'll build a house and he'll take care of her and care of me. He is my only shelter, and nobody else is there. Like that kind of dream she had. So she showered lot of affection on this boy. Like that he says. Tie of affection. She bound me with the tie of affection. Sasvatantra nakalpasit yoga kshemam mamechati ishasya hi vashe loko yosha darumayi yatha. She wanted to look after my maintenance properly, but because she was not independent, she was not able to do anything for me. The world is under the full control of Supreme Lord. Therefore, everyone is like a wooden doll in the hands of a puppet master. Yeah. Aham cha tad brahmakule ऊषीवां तदुपेक्षया दिग्देश कालायुत्पन्नो बालकः पंचहायनः. When I was mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahmana school. I was dependent on my mother's affection and had no experience of different lands. So, and then he is saying about himself. And then here comes the point, you will see here. Ekada nirgatam gehat duhantim nishigam pathi sarpo adashat padas prishtaha kripanam kalachoditaha. Once upon a time, my poor mother, when going out one night to milk a cow, was bitten on the leg by a serpent influenced by the supreme time. He's saying. Prabhupada, see what Prabhupada writes in purport. That is the way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God. Although this is only 3-line purport, it's a very weighty purport. That is the way of dragging a sincere soul. Who is a sincere soul here and who is dragging? Not the boy. The Dasiputra is sincere soul and he is being dragged by the Supreme Lord. How we will see? The poor boy was being looked after only by his affectionate mother, and yet the mother was taken from the world by the Supreme Will in order to put him completely at the mercy of the Lord. So, like that he says, one more we will read. Tada tadakam ishasya bhaktanam shamabhipsataha anugraham manyamanaha pratishtam dishamuttaram. I took this as the special mercy of the Lord, who always desires benediction for his devotees. So thinking, I started for the north. Yeah. Chakravarti Thakur also says, considering that her death was the mercy of the Lord, who is concerned for the welfare of all his devotees, I departed immediately for the north. He's saying, Pratishtam Dishamtala. See, the one verse before this, if you remember, he said, see, only 5-year-old and inexperienced with Desh Kal and time, place, circumstance, direction. I lived in a Brahmana's house with the belief that she would never leave me, he says. And then Prabhupada says, when I was a mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahmana school. I was dependent on my mother's affection and had no experience of different lands. Some people never leave their village for whole life also. Like, in my college days, we used to go to one Sri Vaishnava's house for prasadam, we used to go. So in that house, that lady, she knows only 2 houses. When she was a girl, she was with her parents. When she got married, she came to the husband's home in that village. Now she was almost 86 years old. And she has not gone out of these 2 houses. Other than after marriage, she came here, that's all. Round the clock in the village, they will go behind the house, draw the water from the well, cook. Not even to go and purchase grocery also. Everything was brought by the husband. So there are people like that. So because of that, he says that you had no experience of different lands. Some people, how many of you have seen some villages so utterly simple? You have seen people? Correct, no? Utterly simple. Because they just don't go out of the village, out of the house. So he says, my mother was like that, I was like that also. No experience. But this has a connection to the future verses. What is the connection? When his mother died, now he is venturing into different lands. He will go to the forest, unknown place, and he will be totally dependent on the Lord. You will see that. Now, even some of us, when we read Bhagavatam, this section, we may be shocked. One devotee asked me, Prabhuji, the boy's mother was such a good lady. She only introduced the boy to the Bhaktivedantas. She only told him to render service. She herself bowed down to them. She made the child also bow down. She had a propensity for seva also. And 4 months she trained the child to render service. What's wrong with her? Such a good soul. Why did Krishna do this to her? Getting her bitten by a serpent and making her die and making the child an anath child. Correct, no? Otherwise, the child had some snehanubandha, he says, She bound him with affection. Now that affection is gone. Now who will give affection to the child? Some people cry when they read this section. So what will be your answer to them? Anybody? Let us give it to Prabhuji. And then there are two answers. Venugopal Prabhu also. Huh? Okay.
Actually, in order to create a conducive atmosphere for his spiritual development, spiritual advancement,
But
Lord has.
does it not appear very cruel? It's very easily said. Huh? Yeah. To create a conducive atmosphere for spiritual life. If outsiders here, they'll say, my Lord, this is the way you create a conducive environment. You snatch away such a near and dear one, they may say. But what you are saying is correct. That's what he says.
If mother is there, the bondage, you would not have broken the bondage and went out, Prabhu. For the future
Bond was
development.
very strong.
To cut the bond, the
Correct.
mother was.
Even our, when Abhay Babu became initiated as Abhay Charanaravinda, this thing, and then his guru came and told him, take sannyas. 2 times in his dream he came. And also His Holiness Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj was also saying, now you are Vanaprastha age, you take sannyas and proceed ahead. So what Prabhupada thought, anybody knows? How horrible. Huh? I have 5 sons and I have wife, I have family man. I can earn some money and offer donation to the matha. But how can I take sannyas, leaving all these things? But again his guru came second time. And told him to take sannyas. So, being internally inspired, Prabhupada was saying that I was feeling very vulnerable at that time. But he boldly went ahead. Then, because he took an initiative in doing that what was ordered to him, then he became very glorious. So, at that time, Guru gave support, a God brother gave support, by which they inspired him to march ahead. Like that. Here, Lord is giving support to the boy. What you said is correct. The Lord is taking away the bondage for the boy because the mother is binding him with ropes of affection. Lord, cut the rope and told the boy, see, I have cut the rope for you. Now you proceed ahead. Like that, he told. That's correct. What did you want to say, Prabhu? Same point. Anybody has any other answer? That is another answer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So the answer to this question could be is that we see from our own perception, our own consciousness, we see that death is some kind of a destruction. But if we see from other pastimes, for example, Dadichi gave his life for making that Vajrayudha on the order of Lord Vishnu. And Vritrasura gave up his life. Apparently he got killed. And also we see that Putana, who came to kill Krishna. So when such people like Putana got favored by Krishna in the form of death, then how we should assume that she's been not given a higher destination by Krishna? So when demons could get benefited by serving Krishna, why not the mother of Narada Muni? So she would have got a very higher destination, but we may not be able to perceive that and we may not be able to see that.
Right. What Prabhu is saying is, death need not be feared. Because Jatas Sakidruvo Mrityur Dhruvam Janma Mritasya cha Tasmada Pariharyete Nainam Shochitum Arhasi. Krishna says, one who is born has to die, one who has died has to be reborn. Then why lament? He's asking. So now she is already born now. Someday she has to die, either today or in the future. So therefore he is saying that everybody has to pass, but somebody may get a glorious destination. Like the 3 examples he gave, Vritrasura, Putana, and also Dadichi. So in this way, because she has rendered devotional service to the Bhakti Vedantas by cooking for them and engaging her son in devotional service, likely that she might have attained a very exalted destination. Though not mentioned in Bhagavatam, there's a likelihood. Like that he is saying. Good point. My understanding was that because she was binding the child with affection, she is putting both of them in trouble. Because she is having hope that this boy will take care of me. And she is not taking shelter of Krishna. And the boy being bound by her Sneha Pash, he is not able to surrender to Krishna fully because she is taking that role what Krishna is supposed to take. Krishna is supposed to offer shelter to the boy, but who is offering now? She is offering. So both are now bound in that Pash. Therefore it is said the attachment in the material world is a double attachment, it is said. Like if you are attached to Gulab Jamun, it's a one-way attachment. Like you are attached to Gulab Jamun is not attached to you. Correct, no? For example, if you detach, then Gulab Jamun won't do anything to you. Will it run behind you? It won't. On the other hand, If you see parents and children or husband, wife, it's like two-way attachment. If you put a clip like this, one fellow is ready to take off, other one is not leaving. Or this person is ready to take off, this person is not leaving. So it's a two-way attachment. So she is attached to him and the boy is attached to her also. Two-way attachment. So Lord separated the two. So he helped that way. Now what will happen to her, because she has done devotion service to Bhaktivedantas now, she is going to, Krishna says, Shuchinam Shimatam Gehe Yoga Brishta Vijayate. She will be born in some kind of devotional ambience where she will continue devotion service. Correct? Similarly, the child is now liberated now from that Sneha Pash. Now he is going to forest and he is depending totally on the Supreme Lord. He has no other shelter now. Naturally, the boy must have wept for some time that I have no father, no mother, no brother, no sister, nobody in society who knows me. I am all alone now. Like that verse says, Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva tvameva bandhuscha saka tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. That, like that he must have surrendered. Correct now? So, these are all very, very fine things in the Srimad Bhagavatam. All of you are Vaishnava devotees, therefore you are able to see this and understand it. That Lord is an embodiment of love. He will not do anything bad for us. Whatever he does, whatever comes out of him is only love. So, he is making the boy more mature, more responsible, more detached from material world and more attached to his lotus feet. And he is giving the boy an opportunity to exercise what he learned from the Bhaktivedantas and experience love for Lord, love for God in his heart. And he is going to cry tears of love when he goes to forest, when he sees Lord Vishnu eye to eye. So all that Lord did by doing this one thing. Yes, Prabhu.
We have one more example, Prabhu. In Prabhupada's life, Prabhupada getting separated from his wife.
Correct. Prabhupada getting, some people say Prabhupada asked his wife, you want me or tea? And she said tea, so he took sannyas. It's not exactly he took sannyas because she wanted tea or something. That is just written like that. But he also had a desire to take vanaprastha and sannyas eventually. He had a desire also. Another interesting thing, like he said just now, Prabhupada says, in his Bose lab where he was working, they are likely to become number one richest people in the entire country. How many of you know, Prabhupada says, Jagdish Chandra, who was that? One scientist, Marconi, I think, Prabhupada says. Who invented the telegram? So Prabhupada is saying, two scientists were working and they were discussing. It's getting late now. So, Prabhupada says, out of the two of them, one had done lot of work. But then they were discussing. So that fellow told what work he has done. So this fellow published the paper already. And he got the credit. Prabhupada says that in one of his lectures he says. But why I told you about this, without Krishna's sanction, nothing can happen, Prabhupada says. This fellow was supposed to become famous. That's how he became famous. He published it while the actual research was done by another person. Prabhupada says like that. So there Prabhupada is saying that the Bose, they were supposed to be the richest business in India. That means even our A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami must have been the richest person in the entire country because that Bose lab he was only running. But what Krishna's arrangement? There was a fire accident in Allahabad. And then on the other place, 2-3 people became cunning and they were looting the business. So Prabhupada could clearly see that business is falling apart. On the other hand, he was getting encouragement in printing BTG and distributing. And then Prabhupada says, Tasyaham manigrihanami harishyetad dhanam. Krishna was, dragging me to go to West. He was thinking, what is this pure devotee doing with the chemicals in the pharmaceuticals? You should go, and the time has come for the prophecy to get unfolded. So Krishna took him out of the scene and said, so Prabhupada said, I was very happy to be stripped like that from my material situation by Krishna. So he took it in a very positive way. Did he blame Krishna? He didn't blame. Similarly, the boy didn't blame. So how the boy took it? as mercy. Anugraham manyamanaha. I took it as a anugraham, neither he says. So two things we discussed today. Three things we discussed today. One is that Saddharma Pricha. What is Saddharma Pricha? Who asked the question to whom? Vyasadeva asked question to Narada. Like that we should learn to ask questions. Not that after an entire 2-3 hour lecture is over, if somebody says, I have no question, that means he has not thought about what he heard. If you think, we can ask question. Actually, both the speaker and the hearers should have the knack of asking questions. Like, I am asking questions to all of you, so you are digging out, bringing out things. Similarly, the audience also should do inquiry. So we should teach our people in our Bhakti Vrishas to ask questions. So don't speak for a very long time. Speak 15-20 minutes and then ask them many questions. Then they will say, what do you say till now? Then they will think. Then only they ask questions like that. That was the first thing we learned. Saddharma Pricha. Second thing that we discussed was about, what did you do after your initiation? After the Bhaktivedantas went away. Because you are a young boy. Naturally, as a young boy, you'll be playful, You must have, even after initiation, you might not have done. It happens or not to some people. After Diksha also, they are the same people. They don't change much. Prabhupada says there should be some visible symptoms after initiation. Therefore, today evening, there's a program on. Those are going to take initiation. Before only you tell them, initiation means these are expected from you, correct? So, visible symptoms after initiation, Prabhupada says seriousness in spiritual life and all that. Therefore, I asked you, when you are in high spirits, what all you experience? So many of you, almost 2 dozen answers we got from all of you. High spirits. And the third thing we discussed was about that Dasiputra's mother was taken away by the Lord by a snake bite. Everybody in this world has to die either by a snake bite or by some disease or by some accident or by some old age. Everybody has to pass one day. But if Lord arranges something to take away, like this, if we found, how should be the response of a devotee? So many of you also very nicely explained about, how, the Narada boy, and why did the Lord do this? I asked the question, and then you all thought and brought out many answers. To liberate her from her attachment to the child. Now she is very poor, probably she'll be born in a better family. And also to liberate the child from attachment to the mother. And then to give both of them opportunity to advance in spiritual life. That is the thing. Shri Prabhupada ki, Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.